Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Monday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Diana Master. In the news tonight, Rundu Town Council will be placed under a bulk prepaid water supply system from the 31st of March 2026 due to the town's more than 400 million Namibian dollar debt to NamWater. Under the prepaid arrangement, the council will be required to pay upfront for bulk water before it is supplied, ensuring that water provision is tied directly to payment and preventing further accumulation of debt. NamWater spokesperson Lot Ndamanomata confirmed the rollout, saying it follows repeated efforts to engage the council on payment that has not yielded positive results. The town council has been aware of this debt, but payment has not been made, Ndamanomata said. We have had continuous stakeholder engagement, but the results have not yet been productive. This has left NamWater with no option but to introduce a prepaid system for bulk water supply. Ndamanomata emphasized that NamWater operates on a cost recovery basis, not for profit, meaning revenue collected is essential to maintaining existing infrastructure and to extend water provision. This is not a profit-driven operation. What we supply must be recovered to sustain and expand water provision, he said. The move comes amid growing concern from residents, many of whom continue paying for water services despite the town's escalating debt. Ndamanomata said residents should direct questions to the council about how payments are being handled. With the bulk prepaid system set to take effect at the end of March, the measure aims to ensure recovery of water costs and assist the council in better managing the water supplied. It marks a significant step in enforcing financial discipline and sustaining water services in Rundu, while directly linking water supply to payment to avoid future debt accumulation. The confirmation comes amid a time when water utility NamWater appears to be intensifying efforts to recover large debts owed by local authorities, which stood at over 2 billion Namibian dollars last year. Senior Rundu Town Council officials informed Network Media Hub last week that the Line Ministry wrote to Town Council officials stating that an amount of 20 million Namibian dollars deducted from 55 million Namibian dollars allocated for the town's prepaid water meter system will be directed to settle parts of the Town Council's debt to NamWater. According to a senior official who spoke under the condition of anonymity, the Town Council is currently in discussions with NamWater to pay an additional 500,000 Namibian dollars on top of its average monthly payment of 7 million Namibian dollars to NamWater. NamWater could not confirm this arrangement, citing confidentiality between the council and the utility. Rundu Mayor Andreas Jikerwa confirmed last week that a 20 million Namibian dollar payment was made through central government, noting that they had received a communique confirming the funds had been redirected to NamWater. In our next story, Tsumeb is faced with a serious challenge of providing essential services as approximately 100 municipal workers officially commenced a strike today, leaving the local community to fend for itself. The industrial action follows a bitter year-long dispute between the Namibia Local Authority Workers Union and the Tsumeb municipality, marking the first major labor upheaval the town has seen in years. What started as a quest for inflation-linked relief has spiraled into a standoff involving the Office of the Labour Commissioner and the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development. After initial talks reached a deadlock last year, the matter was escalated to the Labour Commissioner. Initially, both parties agreed to a 4% salary increment as an out-of-court settlement. However, that hope was short-lived as the agreement was subject to ministerial approval. The ministry's recent refusal to sanction the increase has left workers who haven't seen an increment in 6 years feeling abandoned by the system. If there is mismanagement of resources, why should the ordinary workers be punished for it? Questioned Leslie Mosegedi, the Namibia Local Authority Workers Union's acting head of operations. Mosegedi pointed to a perceived double standard in the council's finances, highlighting a reported 11 million Namibian dollar payment to a South African company for an asset audit. The local authority claims they don't have money, yet they can afford such massive consultancy fees. There is no sacrifice or compromise from the top, he added. Acting CEO Frans Nkali confirmed that the strike is legal, but warned that the principle of no work, no pay will be strictly enforced. According to Nkali, Kali, the union's original demand for a 7.5% increment is simply not within the financial means of the council. He cited a direct mandate from the line ministry as the primary hurdle. He was quoted as saying, "We're standing at a point when the line ministry gave a directive of not increasing salaries." While acknowledging that the strike will have a significant impact on town operations, Nkali noted that participation remains voluntary. It does not compel everyone to take part. Those participating are doing so willingly, he said. With roughly 100 employees ranging from waste management to technical maintenance, downing tools, the town's infrastructure is under immediate threat. The Namibia Local Authority Workers Union representatives alleged that some workers and some members were subjected to intimidation by supervisors in an attempt to discourage participation. Despite these reports, the union remains undeterred. Now, the government has unveiled a new plan to tackle Namibia's high youth unemployment rate by offering employers up to 50,000 Namibian dollars in tax deductions as part of the newly launched National Work Integrated Learning Policy 2025 to 2030. According to the latest data from the Namibia Statistics Agency survey, an estimated 50% of youth aged 18 to 35 are unemployed. The policy, officially launched last week by Prime Minister Dr. Elijah Ngurare at Namibia Institute of Public Administration and Management, aims to bridge the long-standing gap between education and employment by embedding practical workplace experience into formal learning. "We are not merely launching a policy, but affirming a national commitment to our young people," Ngurare was quoted as saying. The WIL policy, spearheaded by the Education Ministry, introduces a structured national framework to standardize internships, apprenticeships, and industrial attachments across universities and vocational training institutions. A key feature of the policy is its focus on private sector participation, widely seen as critical to its success. To encourage this, the government has introduced financial incentives, including the 50,000 Namibian dollar tax deduction for companies that take on interns or trainees. In addition, firms that employ interns will benefit from support through the Namibia Training Authority training levy, easing the cost burden associated with skills development. Education stakeholders have welcomed the move. Dalia Mwia, the Director of Technical and Vocational Education and Training, described the policy as a game changer. Beyond urban centers, the policy also emphasizes inclusivity, with placements expected to extend to rural areas such as Wambad, Sesfontein, and Kapako. This approach, Ngurare noted, is essential to ensure equitable access to opportunities across the country. Ngurare urged private companies to take part in the initiative. To the private sector, open your workplaces. To institutions, embed practical learning meaningfully. Together, we can create clear pathways from education to employment, he urged. Getting into our next story, the Roads Authority has said that the 5 billion Namibian dollar budget allocation is not enough to meet the country's growing infrastructure demands, with CEO Hippi Chivikwa warning during a media briefing in Windhoek last week that the amount merely sustains operations rather than enabling expansion. Chivikwa said while the figure may appear significant, it is just to keep us alive in a sector that requires long-term investment, stressing that current funding limits the authority's ability to roll out new road projects at the pace required to match the future traffic demands. He added that the authority is increasingly focused on forward-looking infrastructure planning, even as financial constraints slow down visible development on the ground. Let's take a look at this next video.
We don't build infrastructure for now. When we do infrastructure planning, we look at the future. What is going to happen 20, 30, 50 years from now? When you look, just for example, the Western Bypass, I think it was maybe the only dual carriage that we known, proper one in Namibia for a long time. But when you look at it where it is today, it is there to accommodate future traffic. And so does the road behind the dunes that Mr. Boshe was talking about. And many more roads are coming up. You may not see the roads now, but we have the plans. Some of them are well designed. So our budget remains very limited. The 5 billion that was mentioned here might sound a big amount, but in terms of our sector, it is just to keep us alive. So, however, it will not deter us. We'll continue to embrace the strategy of doing more with less, finding innovative, efficient.
Closing off our top stories, the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Indileni Daniel, officially inaugurated upgraded infrastructure at Etosha National Park, including revamped facilities at Umbika Gate, King Nahala Gate, Namutoni, Northeast and Northwest Parks. Similar upgrades were also carried out at Bobwata National Park and along Namibia's reflecting commitment to conservation, tourism and infrastructure development. She further expressed gratitude to the German government through KfW Development Bank for its continued support in strengthening wildlife protection and sustaining the country's protected areas during the COVID-19 pandemic. The KfW portfolio currently under implementation amounts to approximately 12 billion Namibian dollars, with additional projects worth about 640 million Namibian dollars in preparation. Overall, Germany's financial and technical support to Namibia since 1990 extends 32 billion Namibian dollars. The Deputy Director of Etosha National Park, Nambo Ipinge, also led the Minister on a tour of 3 renovated infrastructure sites within the park. The upgraded infrastructures form part of broader improvements across the northeast and northwest regions of the park, were revamped through the Integrated Wildlife Protection Project with support from the Federal Republic of Germany through KfW Development Bank. Let's take a look.
Basically, both of us said something already. What we are saying, very importantly, we just continue to thank the Federal Republic of Germany and specifically for His Excellency, His Excellency Dr. Thorsten Hatter, for their continuous support. And what I want to highlight is the fact that it's not only for this gate. This is just a symbolic one. All our gates have been upgraded, and they kept the originality of the gate, how it was. And if you can look here, you can see where it was before and what has been added. So it's also in Bogota where similar upgrading has taken place. And I think you can just maybe say something about this project.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. Again, I'm very proud and also humbled to be here. This is a wonderful occasion after the completion of this project, which has been so very well done, so very well executed. We sincerely hope and we wish that NamParks, that everybody involved in this endeavor here in Etosha and the other national parks, Hadap and Bogota, will...
Our official opening to what we are doing this week, but I mean this weekend, today and tomorrow, but we are just here to inspect the gate. This is Namutoni Gate, as you can all see, and it's part of the light infrastructures which were revamped under KfW. We have other light infrastructures which we will appreciate later on today. But after here, we will be visiting the Leeuwering Wildlife Protection Services station, where we are going to just again see what is there. The main event will be tomorrow, but we really just want to appreciate so that as we proceed and to do the official inauguration tomorrow, we have also seen what is here as part of Etosha. But this is not only infrastructure for Etosha, we also have other infrastructure in the northeast, in the northwest, which were done through the Integrated Wildlife Protection Project under KfW through the support of the government of Germany. So today we will just appreciate
Stay with us. Right after the break, we bring you our Community Talk segment. Getting into our Community Talk segment, the Walvis-based Sunshine Family Centre, a facility dedicated to supporting individuals, particularly children living with disabilities and special needs, celebrated 30 years today. Erongo Governor Natalia Gwagoses delivered the keynote address on behalf of Lucia Witbooi, Vice President of Namibia. She emphasized that people living with disabilities are often excluded from opportunities due to their limitations and called on society to dismantle these barriers and replace them with pathways of inclusion and empathy. Let's take a look at this next video.
Disability mainstreaming will be achieved through sustained advocacy and the promotion of inclusion based on human rights approach. As a nation, we are called to measure our progress not only by economic indicators, but by how we treat the most vulnerable members of our society. The work of this center reminds us that disability is not inability. Rather, it is society's barriers, structural and systematic, that often limit opportunity. Therefore, our collective responsibility is clear. We must continue to dismantle these barriers and replace them with pathways of inclusion, equity, and empowerment. The persistence of stigma and social stereotypes remains a challenge. Too often, persons with disabilities are excluded from mainstream opportunities, leaving them vulnerable and unheard. Today we reaffirm our commitment to changing this narrative. Awareness.
The latest in economic news are coming up after the break. Stay with Sunset News.
Do you like traveling?
Do you like to experience new places?
Well, then you should tune into On the Rock, where we explore enjoy establishments all over Namibia and South Africa. Great food, great fun, and so much more. So be sure to mark your calendar as we explore the beautiful landscapes of Namibia at the various enjoy establishments.
And where we also get to go on game drives, different activities, and meet the awesome staff of the different establishments.
We will see you there. Watch On the Rocks every Monday at 9 p.m. on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25.
Headlining our economic news tonight, Namibia has earmarked more than 17 billion Namibian dollars for the development of the Baines hydropower project on the Kunene River, which will form the centerpiece of the government's plan to expand electricity generation capacity and reduce reliance on imports. The allocation contained in the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy's 2025-26 to 2029-30 strategic plan provides for a development budget of 17.01 billion Namibian dollars for the Baines project over the 5 years, positioning it as the single largest energy infrastructure investment in the plan. Baines is expected to anchor Namibia's long-term generation strategy as the country works to increase installed capacity from 734 megawatts to 1,153 megawatts by 2030. The project, located on the Kunene River along the Namibia-Angola border, is designed to deliver stable baseload power and reduce reliance on electricity imports, which currently account for a significant share of national consumption. The hydropower development sits within a broader national push to strengthen energy security and support industrial growth. Rising demand from mining, oil and gas, and green hydrogen projects is expected to place increasing pressure on the grid, making new generation capacity a strategic priority. Beyond generation, the plan emphasizes expanding access to electricity. The government has allocated more than 6.4 billion Namibian dollars over the 5 years for electrification programs targeting rural and peri-urban areas, as well as schools and health facilities. The objective is to increase national electricity access from 59.3% to 70% by 2030 through a phased rollout of new connections. The rollout is structured to deliver incremental gains each year, combining grid expansion with decentralized solutions. Off-grid solar technologies, including household systems, water pumps, and solar water heaters, are expected to complement traditional infrastructure, particularly in sparsely populated areas where grid extension is not economically viable. The plan targets deploying approximately 300 such solar solutions annually to expand access and reduce reliance on conventional fuels. Urbanization is also shaping the energy strategy. Rapid growth in peri-urban areas and informal settlements is increasing demand for reliable electricity, requiring targeted investment to upgrade distribution networks and expand access in densely populated zones. Now let's take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 22.69 against the British pound, 19.71 to the euro, 17.12 against the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 48 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. All commodities are up save for Brent crude oil, which took a dip of 0.98%, now trading at $110.65 per barrel. That's it for our economic news segment. After the break, we bring you the latest in international news. Tonight in international news, Iran said earlier today that its ambassador to Lebanon would remain in his post in Beirut, defying the Lebanese Foreign Ministry, which has declared him persona non grata and told him to leave. With war raging in Lebanon between Hezbollah and Israel, the Iranian envoy's status has emerged as a focal point of tension between the Iran-backed group and the Lebanese government, which has been heavily critical of Hezbollah for entering the regional war in support of Tehran and called for talks with Israel. The Lebanese Foreign Ministry last week said it had decided to withdraw accreditation for the ambassador-designate Mohammad Reza Shibani and asked him to leave by March 29th. The ministry said at the time that Shibani had violated diplomatic convention by making statements about Lebanese internal politics. Lebanese Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri, a powerful Shiite Muslim politician and Hezbollah ally, opposed the Foreign Ministry's decision and has asked Shibani to remain, sources familiar with Berri's position said. And now let's take a look at our weather predictions. Ruakana can expect some showers and maximum temperatures of 32 degrees Celsius and minimum temperatures of 20 degrees Celsius. Omaruru can also expect showers. Maximum temperatures will be at 33 degrees Celsius and minimum temperatures will be at 20 degrees Celsius. Looking over at Ariamsvlei, it will be scorching hot. Maximum temperatures will be at 32 degrees Celsius. Minimum temperatures will be at 23 degrees Celsius. Enties Bay and Swakopmund can expect some showers. Maximum temperatures will be 21 and 19 degrees respectively, and minimum temperatures will be at 17 degrees Celsius. And with that, we have come to the end of the broadcast. I am Diana Master, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.